So live from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Cleveland, Ohio, welcome to the Musicians Bootlick. Thank you, guys. We are a live web series by Cleveland musicians and about Cleveland musicians. We have a YouTube channel called Musicians Bootlick. We are also live and interactive around the globe right now on Periscope. All right? Are you guys all hip to Periscope? You guys down with Periscope? You got Twitter accounts? Yep. I figured you did. So today we have the guys from Tricky Dick and the Cover-Ups. Yeah! Well, thank you. Thank you. We have founding members Matt Johnson and also Doug Scholes.
Hi.
Doug plays guitar. Matt is the doctor on the drums. And then newer members, we have Tony Howard on bass and Jeff Harmonies. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Close enough.
Help me out, brother.
Harmoses.
Man, I read that wrong, dude.
But Jeff Harmonies is way cooler of a name.
Actually, we're changing it to Jeff Harmonies.
You know what? I had it right. I had it right earlier. All right, and Jeff on the keys.
There you go.
And you guys all sing in the band, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
The band name came about like any bunch of drunk 20-somethings that are forming a band. We're like, hey, what do you want to call the band? And Tricky Dick kind of got tossed around as just like a thing, Tricky Dick. And actually our former lead singer's brother, as I recall, was like the Cover-Ups because he pulled in like the Watergate scandal. He was thinking from that historical perspective, Tricky Dick and the Cover-Ups. Very few of our fans of people that follow us get that reference, of course. To them, it could be anything from just kind of a weird, peculiar name to a reference towards prophylactics. We've gotten that one a lot. Tricky Dick and the condoms, that type of thing. But in the end, it's kind of like a triple entendre because we're a cover band, and we have the Nixon reference, we have the prophylactic reference, so. It's just one of those things. It's and we always kind of joke around internally, we got to come up with a really great story, even if it's totally made up about how the band name came about, just like a cool story. But in all actuality, it was just us sitting around drinking, tossing names around, and then it kind of
stories are made, man. That's a good way the names are made. Stone Temple Pilots did the same thing. They weren't allowed to call it, STP, like the oil or whatever. So they came up with an acronym for it, just on a whim, hanging out on the beach. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I figured it had something to do with that. And you're right. Probably most people that come out to see you have no idea who Richard Nixon even is.
No, not at this point. We get they're drunk and they're 25, so they have no idea.
That said, our demographic is pretty, diverse. We did do a yacht club some weeks ago that was all 40-somethings and plus, and they had a great time. So we definitely can cater to a wide demographic.
Yeah, they might have known what the band name.
They may have known.
Yeah.
But it's a very catchy name. It's a very catchy name. Has anyone at a private event or anything ever asked you, can we call it Tricky Penises instead of, the dick part?
No, we did do recently a high school function that was, it was actually really cool. We were collaborating with the high school electric orchestra.
Very cool.
And they were not comfortable with the Tricky Dick part of it because it's a high school and it's just a little bit touchy. They have to pass out flyers to their moms and dads and whatnot. So we just cut off the front end and we were just the Cover-Ups. So it was
brilliant.
Yeah, the Lakewood Project Rock Orchestra featuring the Cover-Ups. So that was that way around it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's part of something else you do too, right? You work with the high school, don't you?
I personally do. I'm still a director in the Lakewood Project, which is a 30-piece electric orchestra. This season, in January, on January 23rd, they're going to be featuring Disco Inferno.
Oh, very cool.
So they're going to do a disco show. If you know disco at all, there's a lot of great orchestration. So violins, cellos, violas, harp, all those great instruments do integrate into disco very well. So they've been going since 2003, featuring at the very beginning a member of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and now they're doing it completely independently through a Lakewood High school system, and they're awesome.
So you guys are giving back a little bit, right?
A little bit, right? Yeah. We want to do it every year. It's awesome. We'll hopefully do it every other.
And you guys are all Clevelanders now, right? You guys all live in Lakewood, right? How and why Lakewood? Doug, talk to me, brother.
Well, it's convenient. I live across the street, so I said we should be here.
Across the street from what?
Around the corner, Bar and Grill Cafe
Right.
in Lakewood, Ohio.
Which is what, Doug? Give us some context. Why is that important to us?
Oh, because we play there pretty much the first Saturday of every month.
And
Oh, really? Okay.
And that is our rehearsal spot as well.
So
I forgot about that.
So you pretty much walk home, which is probably a good thing, huh?
Yes, very good. Very good.
Now, Doug, you're the only one not from like the general Cleveland area. You grew up in a small town, huh?
Yes, I did. Fort Loramie, Ohio, born and raised.
How many in your high school?
Well, I graduated with 60, and my brother graduated with 65, and I think that's still the reigning champion of like graduating class numbers.
Except for Put-in-Bay. Put-in-Bay is like 7.
No, I mean for the 65 was a huge thing in Fort Loramie.
For his hometown.
Yeah, for my hometown, that was a big deal.
That's a big school right there, huh?
Oh yeah.
So now, okay, so you're all living up there. You're living in Lakewood, hanging out with in the Cleveland scene, entrenched in the scene. Which one of you guys are single? Any of you guys single?
Me.
Jeff is the only one. Is Jeff?
You are?
I'm putting you guys on the spot.
Let's see, technically, yes.
Technically, yes. You know, this is a live webcast.
Hey,
right?
Carly, how you doing? Thanks for coming out. He was the only one that like had his girl come
Brought
out.
someone, and he's, you know, the next reference I have is "Shot to Hell Now" because
No, but we
technically we're on a break.
No, but I mean we're all we've all had our fun.
Yeah, I could imagine being on the road, rock band. I'm sure there's been a lot of fun had. All right. I wanted to go somewhere, but now, you know, I'm just...
No, go there. Go there. Screw it.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back. So, Matt, founding member, and also you do a lot of the booking and the promo and the accounting and all that. Now, before we get to that, how'd the band get together?
Yeah, when I graduated college, I had a friend that I played music with in high school, and we were like, you know, we were big into like Genesis and Yes and like big progress. I could never play as well as them, but I still love them. So we connected on that level, and we were in an original band for about a month. He went into the military. I went to college 4 years later. He gives me a call and was like, hey, I want to put together a cover band. So I'm like, sure. I could barely play a lick at the time. I can barely play a lick now, but I mean, at the time, I couldn't do anything. So long story short, we got together and kind of went through a bunch of different guitarists, put a Craigslist out. Doug Scholze.
Hi.
Right there. He answered it and said like, hey, let's drink some beers and play some music.
If we have time.
And so he kind of came in, and Doug from the beginning was more of the business guy, if you will. Like, he's super personable. He's the guy who was making all the phone calls.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep. Doug was doing all the cold calling. I mean, we were passing out the press kits. I mean, because you know, we didn't know what we were doing. We were playing. We were playing stuff that we liked to play, that was fun to play, that, like, you know, the bars necessarily didn't quite want to hear, but we were having fun with it. And Doug, with his diligence, got us into some rooms that were
seedy.
Important.
Yeah. Tell me about that first booking. How'd that story go about your first gig?
Oh, the Bottoms Up on 117th in good old Lakewood, Ohio. I just called. I mean, I did. That's the thing. I always did the booking in the previous bands I was in, but I didn't know anything about Cleveland. I'd only lived here about 9 months, and so I just figured if you annoy people enough, they're probably going to say mercy. So the guy, I said, you know, if we make $200, we'll do it for free, but if he still gives us $200, that'd be nice.
and we got $200.
Yeah, we did get $200, and the next one was $250, I do believe.
Yeah. The Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, I'll never forget it. We all wear our green shirts, our green St. Patrick's Day shirts.
Oh yeah.
We're like made $250 on the deal. It's now a gay bar.
Well, conveniently named.
In Bottoms Up.
Yeah, Bottoms Up.
Hey now.
But yeah, no, I mean, Doug worked hard at it in the beginning to get us into what is now Avenue Tap House, what was then Put-in-Bay Lakewood. It was an important room, you know, back then. So I mean, that's kind of how we got our footing. Just getting out there playing. None of us had really any real experience in the Cleveland cover band scene or whatever you want to call it.
You were carving your own path.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Just
we
doing
were
doing what you felt.
And we
done.
really had no idea what we were doing. We were just like trying to, you know, make a few bucks and have some fun and invite our girlfriends out and our friends out to like have a few beers and watch us play CCR tunes, you know.
Nice. Nice. Except
that's-
Jeff would invite multiple girls out.
Jeff
Jeff
at
the stop.
You already know him.
he reads you like a book. Jeff at the time, Jeff actually, when he joined us about 2.5 years ago,
Oh,
he
that
was
first
more
gig.
an original music guy for
Okay.
most of his music career,
Wow,
whatever you
so
want
he's
to call
like,
it.
man, I'm getting paid and chicks are coming.
Right, you know, he's like, holy moly, like the best of both worlds.
And then my first gig, I ended up playing with these guys. It was a ski lodge, and they stuffed
my
us in
God.
a corner. And there's people with like skis walking by, and people spilling drinks on Doug's processor.
No,
It was
her
sweet.
ass touched, like fell onto broke off the power supply.
Oh my God.
Her ass what?
Her ass broke his.
Power supply, like ripped it out.
If your gear's gonna get broken, might as well be by a female.
Yeah, exactly. By a
Anyway.
chick's ass.
No, but yeah, that was every first gig with a new member we've had, and we've had about a handful, you know, as all bands do.
Yeah.
Like is always like the disaster gig where like it's a snowstorm or like you know we're playing in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my
and
God.
Jeff's was no different.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to tell you guys that you guys like are a bit of an anomaly out there because, and frankly, I'm a little jealous. Okay, because you guys jumped in the scene, you kind of skipped right over all the cover band politics that goes on in town, and you quickly really set yourselves aside and became a top billing act. You know. Pretty quickly, and that's pretty commendable. What do you attribute that good success to?
I'd say energy. I mean,
Yeah?
just really loving to be on stage and like it's just so much fun to like try to put more energy than the people before you and like really connect with everybody.
That's cool. Energy is good, man. That's good. I like that.
I would agree with that answer, and I would also add production.
Yeah.
You know, we spent the last 2 summers on the East Coast doing the East Coast tour. So we kind of broke out of our comfort zone, out of the Cleveland area, and we went to a place called Dewey Beach, Delaware, as well as the Atlantic City area in New Jersey and the Philadelphia area.
Right.
And during that time, we had already been on the path of updating our production, which means lighting.
Yeah.
You know, things to enhance the visual aspect because people hear with their eyes.
Yes,
you know,
they do.
as you've mentioned to
talked
me
about
several
it.
times
Yeah.
from your experience in Las
Yeah.
Vegas. And we learned so much from experiencing what those bands out there do and how we can bring those, take some notes from those very high quality, high production bands out there that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their
Wow.
production.
You know, and I will say that like Doug about 3 years ago made like the joke when we had sort of gotten to the point where we felt we were a successful band, like a sustainable income generating band. He was like, it only cost us our 20s. So I mean, it wasn't exactly like some. I mean,
Overnight,
we
yeah.
Now early 30s.
we grinded it out for a while, as everyone does.
Sure,
you
you
know what I
gotta- you
mean.
gotta
It
pay your
just,
dues.
it just. I mean, when we got together, we were fortunate enough, especially when Tony joined the group. Like he had a sort of a singular vision of what the band should sound like, incorporating more pop music, dance music, contemporary music, putting your feet to the floor, to the grind, really working on the latest, greatest stuff and being sort of a band that's outside of the box. That was like, so I mean, we were fortunate in that the three of us had that same vision, and we were willing to put in the work and the hours to do it. And I mean, even, you know, I don't think any of us would look at each other and say we're the greatest musician. I mean, I just watched an hour of music that I'm like, but we,
Towards his colleagues, and we don't take it personally.
no, and myself included. But we work very hard at it, and we hold each other accountable when like things don't go well. When you show up at practice, you're expected to know the songs. When you go to the show, you're expected to perform them right. When you don't, you're
You're going to hear about it.
you're
guys
going to hear
critique
about it.
yourselves
Like
pretty hard, huh?
there's
Big time.
There's accountability in this band, you know. And I mean, and like I said, we were fortunate that three of us sort of had that vision. That if we didn't have that accountability, that we weren't all in to do the best we could in the music, in the lighting production, in the whole deal,
Those
We can
things
find
pay
somebody
off.
who
then
was.
we'll find somebody who will.
Those things pay off. That's a good lesson to everybody who's out there. I mean, you know, a lot of people start bands and they want it to be the greatest thing, and you know, it takes the effort that you guys have put forth to make it happen.
You don't fall into it. I mean,
Right.
I'll say
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you find the people that are willing to do the work, you know, to make it the best show possible.
Yeah.
Or you find someone else.
I gotta ask you guys, how fun was it being on the road? Did you guys have fun on the road when you traveled?
Once we got there, yes. But the travel was a lot of it took its toll on us.
Yeah. And you were gone for what was the longest stint?
Well, you have to remember, it wasn't so much that like we would be on the road for a week, 2 weeks at a time. We would drive 8 hours and spend 2 days in a place, and then drive 10 hours to play a gig in Put-in-Bay, and then wake up on Tuesday. Like, you know, we'll play.
I got what you mean.
You know what I mean? So it was
You're
the back
dotting the
and
map.
forth and the back and forth,
Yeah.
and you're in this van with like 3 smelly dudes. I'm sure everybody knows this story.
Yeah.
You know, it grinds on you, and like when you're with 3 other guys, everybody knows which buttons to push. You know, when they're like in
Oh,
a bad
so well.
mood, like you know exactly what to do, and you do that because like you're frustrated, you're tired, you're cranky, you're missing your girlfriend, you're missing your family, all that stuff. So, like Jeff said, when you're there and you're playing these big
Yeah.
rooms and like everyone is digging it and the band sounds great and like the energy is phenomenal,
blast.
then you're like on cloud 9.
Yeah.
The next morning when you got to wake up at 8 a.m.
Hungover.
and get into the van and you're eating, you know, the
Sheets.
Yesterday's gas station food.
the worst food ever. That's the bummer. That's
Yeah.
the bummer. But I mean, you know, we always say like it was a phenomenal experience. I mean, it was something that I wish a lot of bands around here could just sort of do. I wish they could see sort of the rooms that are out there on the East Coast. I don't know if you've traveled like to
Not that way,
that
but
East
I want
Coast.
to.
Right, you've done like
I'm
the
taking
Vegas
my notes.
thing and like no, I mean there is so much opportunity out there, and the bands are all like in that zone of putting on like gigantic production and everything.
That's
we just
cool.
happen to be, you know, born and raised 6 hours east.
Right.
So
right.
it's not quite right for us, but it was a phenomenal experience to go through.
I wanna take some questions from Periscope. I have 2, but I just want to I want to read you one because we're cutting short on time. We're running long on time. But Jasmine Bonilla from Marshfield, Wisconsin says, "What kind of music do you play?" Obviously, she hasn't been listening. But very quickly, how would you describe the band, Doug?
No, I'm going to pass that to Matt because I always say, you know, we used to play like 5 Weezer songs, but now we don't. And that's my description.
I've actually, unfortunately, it won't help our friend in Wisconsin, but I've actually come up with like a really great way to describe it.
Okay.
And I haven't even shared it with these guys because it was like sort of like the great
Breaking
Scott,
news.
It was like the great Scott flux capacitor moment that I had the other day. I was like,
Hey.
He did it on 10/21. He did it.
BTTF.
I said we need to come up with a radio reference. Like we are,
Okay.
I would say 75% 99X. You know, we're about 10% of Q104.
Did you mean 96.5?
96.5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Okay.
that.
99X is a rock station.
Alternative.
99X is
that
maybe
the
that
frog?
cable station that you
All
watch
right,
late at night.
Clearly, I haven't quite ironed out my flux capacitor yet, but
It's okay.
but you know, we're a lot of like Q104 crossover dance music. We like to do a lot of like what's coming up on 96.5. We're going to play Fetty Wap here in about 10 minutes. You know, I don't know if people will dig that. And we also like to do like a good mix of like some 90s rock, early 2000 stuff. Like the pop punk is kind of a fun thing that we do.
Yeah,
that,
give me
like,
a
gets
pop
people
punk
going.
song. Like, who would that be?
Anthem?
The Anthem by Good
Charlotte.
Okay.
Fall Out Boy.
Love
Panic
Fall
at
Out
the
Boy.
Disco.
Panic at the Disco always gets
Very
a
cool.
great like so things like that just kind of like, but like, you know, we're a contemporary dance band
Okay, so
that
you're
likes
all-
to
you're all
mix
in.
in some rock and roll. Remind me to elaborate on my radio analogy later, guys, because it is
cool.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing she says is, "Can I hire you for my 21st birthday party?" So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Doing what? Playing music or like as like male strippers? Like
Maybe she wants a little 99X on there. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, let's shoot us an email.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
Tricky Dick Cover Band.
That's what I was just
at
going to say. Speaking of that, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, we're at trickydickcoverband@gmail.com. That's like direct to us. Facebook, facebook.com/trickydickcoverband. on Twitter, Periscope, Instagram at Tricky Dick Cover.
I think I've been to the website. It's very cool. You got a lot of cool videos on there. So if you want to check out Tricky Dick, you know where to find him. Now, in my opinion, you guys are the future. I'm not trying to overstate this or anything, but like you're the future of cover bands. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of old dinosaurs out here, and there's a lot of them in Cleveland. I don't necessarily mean, age-wise, but just doing the same old, same old. So I commend you guys for carrying that torch and carving your own, blazing your own trail, man. That's really cool. That's really cool. And that's the sense I got from everything you've been saying. And the Bootlick, my little Bootlick show here is also a bit of a thank you. For Cleveland musicians. So, I've been entrenched in the scene for a long time, been dinked in and out. But, I've seen you guys from afar. I've watched from afar. And, I got to tell you that I'm thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with what you guys do. You're good guys. You got good music going on. So I want to say thank you for your music. All right? We're going to pass out some shots here real quick. I hope I can figure out which one's which.
Okay, I got it. Oh, he's on
Mitch on the
Mitch is on it. He's on it.
2 Jamesons, 3 Fireball.
Oh man, Mitch in the house. What's that? Jameson?
You're gonna have to do Fireball. Perfect. You all right? I'll take it.
Thank you, Chaz. It's been a pleasure as well working with you. We love you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you guys for the music, everybody. Give them a round of applause, you guys.
Thank you.
Tricky Dick and the cover-ups. Check them out at Tricky Dick. What was the website again?
TrickyDickCoverband.com. And looking forward. I mean. We don't get to do this that often, like just hang out, because obviously we're working every Friday and Saturday. But real pleasure,
well,
just seeing like everybody, like just great musicians, good people, having fun. It's a nice change of pace for us.
Tell one dude's good, who's the dot with the Georgia to go see. Y'all better listen up closely. Are you dudes that say that I turn Bob at a firm flop? Y'all are the reason the gray ain't been getting no sleep. So fuck y'all, all of y'all. Y'all don't like me, blow me. Y'all gon' keep fucking around with me and turn me back to the old me. Nowadays everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. Just to put the differential motherfuckers that they forget about Drake. Nowadays everybody wanna talk. Baby, now we got paper. Hey, I can't take it back, look where I'm at. We was on D like DOC, remember that? The TLC was quite OD, I did my facts. Now POV of you and me is my Iraq. I don't hate you, but I hate to critique and erase you. These beats of a dog heart, these bass lines to replace you. Take time and erase you. No, don't hit no more, no, I don't fear no more. Better yet, respect it, Christ, it's in no more. Ah! Oh, we're so sad to think about the good times. You and I. 'Cause baby, now we got back. Don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, shut up and dance with me. Oh come on girl. Go, let it go, but the bottom band go. Counting up, but the bottom band go. In the with the money, I never let go. I get on with my baby. I let them all get fly with my baby. Yeah, how you ride with my baby? I'll be in the kitchen cooking pies with my baby. Yeah, I get live with my baby. I'll be in the mall and get fly with my baby. Yeah, how you ride with my baby? I'll be in the kitchen cooking pies with my baby. Like with my baby, like.